Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Hey, water's usually a panner's best friend, but forecast today is kind of for rain, so we'll see how it goes. This is a pretty cool area. It's an old ocean bottom volcanic rock sequence that's piled up against some softer metamorphic rocks that are shot through with quartz veins, and those veins contain fine gold. This part along here is a little bit too steep for us, a little bit too high velocity to have some good gravel bars, but whoop, watch it there. PioneerPauly is my miner friend today. But maybe come back in the summertime. These potholes in this area are pretty cool, where harder rock has eroded gaps into the softer rock. You can see some of those pillow shapes in there. That's where the lava at the bottom of the ocean actually cooled as it came out, and much like you see in Hawaii today. Very, very neat feature, but this area is way too steep for us to try to access, so we're going to look for some further upstream and try to find some gravel beds where there's some good traps. This area is pretty cool. The bedrock here is pretty resistant to erosion. It's becoming at an angle to the stream, so it has some nice cracks in it.
We're back on this beautiful river here. As you can see, there's lots of pockets, lots of opportunities to trap gold. Going to take some of the moss off some of the sides of this to check it out. A lot of bedrock here, a lot of cracks with quartz in them, so some good source rock potential too. These little scallop pockets in the rock here look like good spots to trap gold, but in fact they get pretty worn down. It gets very tumbled in there, and if you do find anything, it's probably really fine flour gold, but the water level is quite low now, and what I've been doing is working the base of this great big rock that you see here in the water. There used to be a natural little trap on these ledges, and these little ledges of some other kind of resistant rock. You can see that I'm kind of opening up this little pocket along this crack here. I got that, and I dumped all this in my bucket, so I'm about to pan that out and see if I got anything. Okay, this is the first pan, and it's usually not as good as the second one, but I've got too much reflection going on here. Let's try this instead. I don't know if you can see that nice black sand up there, but there's a nice little comet tail of gold in that. Can't really see out here in the outside how well that's showing up, but there's definitely some nice little specks in there. All that fine gravel. I got some very fine gold, but I think the problem here is that this kind of spot has got so much energy coming in from the river. It's kind of trapped in here like a whirlpool, and I think it circulates around and just pulverizes the gold so finely. I don't think it's actually trapping it. I think it's kind of just beating it all up, because I'm getting super fine gold in here, nothing more than that. So I think I want to move on and maybe try scraping some moss off some rocks and try to find another spot.
So we're looking for an S-bend in the river where the velocity of the high flooding gold will zoom across and hopefully get caught in any cracks behind the bedrock. So we're looking for a particular type of shape, almost like a point bar, and looks like right here we might have that. You can see where gold would shortcut right across this rocky bar. So now we got to find some traps. Well, Pauly's going to go look for some cracks to dig out, but I'm going to try some moss. This is a good way to test if a stream is gold bearing or not without doing a lot of heavy digging. By going into the moss, you can find fine gold, which tells you that the gold has moved through that area. I like to find moss especially that has black sand or magnetite sand in it on the back sides of rocks, where the lower velocity as it spills over would naturally trap the gold in those spots.
A bucket filled with moss, and add a bunch of water to it and break it up so that all the sand is released from the moss. It's just like the moss or the mat in the bottom of the sluice box.
So water is a panner's best friend. Maybe not so much rain, which is coming down now, but water. And so we're going to really try to loosen that sand off that moss. You really want to beat it up, either if you have a shovel or a pry bar, or get your hands in there with If there's a big stick in the river, just get the stick in there and just pound it out just like you're churning butter. You really want to get all that loose sand and material off the moss because it'll just hold on to it. And any clay as well. Clay is actually can hold the gold flake pretty nicely. So you want to bust up any clay or dirt that's in there. Now we're going to pan that out. That moss is still in there, and we're going to have to separate that from the fine gold. Give it lots of water. Take your time. Really get that gold off the top of the sediment so it doesn't drag out any flakes with it. Getting pretty rainy here, but let's have a look in this pan. It's sometimes a bit harder when the sky's dark, but yeah, we've got some really fine gold and kind of match head size is the biggest. Not a picker, but not bad. It's really coming down now, so we'll be back with a bit more time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like it. Happy gold hunting.